So now we continue with the chapter flower, and we are going to see the general description of the floral parts of the flower. So we have first one is the calyx. So we first start with the green part over here, which is the calyx. Also called as the sepals. The sepals are individual parts. Calyx is the collective name. Usually there are 5 sepals. Sometimes they may be less, or in few cases even more. Generally there are 5 sepals, the 5 green parts, white sepals, but sometimes it could be more or sometimes it could be less. The sepals may be free, that is polysepalous, or fused, gamosepalous. So it is seen that the sepals which are there, either they can be free, like each and every sepal could be one like this, another like this, third like this, fourth like this, and fifth like this. So if all the sepals are over here, if all of them are separate, okay, they can easily be converted and seen as 5 different leaves. Then we call it as a free kind of a sepalous, that is polysepalous. So if this is like this, then it is polysepalous. So if the sepal is like this, then this is a stalk. So then it is polysepalous. Or else it could be that it is fused together. That means the lower part is fused together, and then it is just having such crowns like this, or maybe some deeper crown like this, so something deeper here, but still the bottom part is connected together. So if such a condition is there, then these fused ones are called as gamosepalous. So the sepals can either be free like this, polysepalous, and fused like this as gamosepals. Sometimes, as in hibiscus, shoe flower, there may be a secondary series of sepals called episepals, collectively called as epicalyx. So apart from this, there could be some secondary also, like this, यहाँ पे, इधर ऐसे secondary calyx. Okay, there is another secondary sepals over there which are called as epicalyx. So it is not only there could be calyx, but also some smaller leaves at the bottom. Then it is called as the epicalyx, like in the case of shoe flower, hibiscus. So they are collectively called as epicalyx. When the flower opens, the sepals may fall off or persist. Sepals are usually green, but in some cases they are brightly colored, called as petaloids, as in gulmohar, that is the flame of the forest, when they are red. So when the sepals are red, that is, they are called as sepaloids. That is in the case of gulmohar. There is not red but any other color also. They are called as sepaloids, and such a condition you can see that the sepals are not green, and hence they are called as sepaloids. The example over here is of gulmohar, where it is made up of red color. The sepals protect the young flower bud, and when green, they also perform photosynthesis. So yes, the sepals are originally the bud. तो बड स्टेज में जो ग्रीन कलर के जो पेटल्स से जो सेपल्स थे जो उसको प्रोटेक्ट करते थे, लीव्स से जो उसको प्रोटेक्ट करते थे, और these are the ones which were protecting the baby flower, and they are also doing photosynthesis in that stage. So at that stage they also can do photosynthesis. So that was about the calyx. Now we move ahead to the next part, and that is the corolla. Corolla, nothing but the petals. Corolla petals. The petals are generally arranged in a single whorl, but sometimes they are in double whorl, like in poppy, or in spiral, like in water lily. So normally they are in just single whorl. Okay, normally इधर ऐसे सिंपल रहता है, but कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि it is not only single but double, अंदर भी है, बाहर भी है, ऐसे टाइप के होता है. या तो कभी-कभी ऐसा है that it is in a spiral form, ऐसे round. तो depending upon the type of the flower, there will be different kinds of the arrangement of the petals. So either it is normally the one which is straight, that is arranged in a single whorl, or maybe in a double whorl, or maybe spiral. The double whorl in case of poppy, and a spiral in case of water lily. Now they can be free, again the same thing as in sepals. If free, that is each and every petal is separate. Okay, you can separate out each and like rose petals. एक separate कर सकते हैं. Okay, so if each and every petal is separate, we call it as polypetalous. Okay, we can see the names are the same. उसके अंदर पॉलीसेपलस था क्योंकि वो सेपल्स है इसे सेपलस, हियर पेटल्स है इसलिए पेटलस, सो पॉलीपेटलस. So they are free, polypetalous, or united, that is bunched together, forming a tube-like structure and giving out over here. So if it is a tube-like structure at the bottom and coming out over here like this, so then this one over here is a tube-like, then it is gamopetalous. So it is gamopetalous, and in this case there will be two ones. One could be a tubular one, or it could be a funnel type. So either it could be forming a tubular thing, so tube-like structure, or it will be taking a funnel-shaped structure. So these are the three kinds of the corolla or the petals, that is either free petals, that is polypetalous, or in case of gamopetalous, there are two kinds. One is the fused petals, which is forming in a tubular form or in the form of a funnel. The petals attract insects for pollination. They also protect stamens and pistils, especially when the petals form a tube. So whenever the petals form a tube, they normally act much more as a protection for the female part, okay, or even the sometimes when they enter in. So basically androecium and gynoecium. So they will be forming a protection for the androecium and gynoecium. We move to the third part, that is androecium, that is the stamen or the male part. The number of stamens in different flower may vary from a few to a large number. When stamen consists of a long filament and an anther attached to its extremity, the anther, each stamen consists of a long filament. So we see each stamen consists of a long filament and an anther connected to it at the tip. An anther attached to its extremity. The anther is usually two-lobed. टू-लोब यानी उसके दो लोब्स होते हैं, एक ऐसा एक ऐसा, ऐसे दो लोब करके एक पर्टिकुलर एंथर बनता है. ओके, दिस इज द बाइलोब स्ट्रक्चर. टू लोब्स, वन लोब सेकंड लोब, ऐसे बाइलोब स्ट्रक्चर. सिमिलर टू अ वीट ग्रीन अगर तुम लोग देखो तो इट्स अ वाइट ग्रीन, इट्स अ बाइलोब स्ट्रक्चर. सो एंथर इज दिस एंथर, यू कैन सी द लाइन इन बिटवीन, सो दैट्स अ एंथर इज अ बाइलोब स्ट्रक्चर. ईच लोब हैज टू पॉलन sacs, दैट इज 4 in all. सो यहाँ पे दो पॉलन से एक ऊपर एक नीचे, दो पॉलन सेक, यहाँ पे दो पॉलन से एक ऊपर एक नीचे, ऐसे दो के लिए एक पूरे एंथर में कितने पॉलन सेक हुए, 1 2 3 4. ओके, 4 pollen sac in one anther. When the pollen sac are contained, and within the pollen sac contains the pollen grains. So the pollen grains are going to be there within that pollen sac. So pollen sac contains the pollen grains. When fully mature, the pollen sac ruptures to liberate pollen grains. The pollen grains are generally powdery particles of different shapes and sizes. So they are given a figure over here for the different the bilobe structure का pollen sac and the pollen grains, and these are the different kinds or different shapes of the pollen grains. So you can study this figure. So the figure gives you the general types or shapes of pollen grains. In androecium, stamen may be free, that is polyandrous, as in petunia, or joined in different ways in single, double, or several groups. So, if it is a single group, then it is monoadelphous. If it is in two groups, 9 together and 1 separate, it will be as diadelphous. And if it is all separate, it is polyadelphous, the several groups. So, accordingly, you have is androecium. If it is free, then it is polyandrous, and if it is grouped together, then it will be in either single grouping like monoadelphous, double group as diadelphous, and several groups as polyadelphous. So you see, monoadelphous stamen are united in one group by their filaments. So all the filaments are grouped together. If these filaments are there, they are all grouped together. So that is the stamen are grouped together as one, that is monoadelphous. Only anthers are free. The upper anthers are free. Like in China rose, staminate tube and cotton. Diadelphous, the filaments are united in two bundles, like in P. In P you will see that it is in two bundles. 9 of them together in one bundle and 1 as a separate one. So 1 and 9. So that is nothing but diadelphous. Out of 10, 9 stamen from the staminal tube, while 1 is free. Polyadelphous, the filaments are united in several groups like in bombex. So there are groups, so 5 ka bunches, ऐसा करके groups में there will be such a thing that is polyadelphous. Now they are given you how to remember this thing, that the order is mono. Mono is one, di is two, poly means multiple. So that is mono, di and poly respectively means single, double, two and several. Adelphous literally means group of brothers. You are referring to the parts from which the anther grows out in bundles. Thus the bundle of anther rising from the single part, that is monoadelphous or monodelphous. The bundle from two parts is diadelphous, and from several parts is polyadelphous. So that's right. Adelphous means brothers. So here they are male parts, so they are all brothers. So if it is all brothers together bunched up, it's monoadelphous. If they are bunched in such a way that two bundles are there, 1 and 2, that will be diadelphous. If they are all in separate bundles, that will be polyadelphous. The next one we see is gynoecium or carpels. That's the female part. So gynoecium is also known as pistil. Yeah, gynoecium also known as pistil. It is composed of one or more carpels. Each carpel consists of 3 parts. Each carpel consists of 3 parts: stigma, style, and ovary. Stigma, style, and ovary are the 3 parts. Stigma. So what is a stigma? It is a terminal knob-like structure. It is a terminal knob-like structure, sticky over here, so that the pollen grain can stick on that particular thing. So that's a receptor of the pollen grain for the flower. So stigma is a terminal knob-like part. It may be divided into 2 or more lobes and may assume a feathery appearance. The stigma is covered with hair or with glandular papillae. It serves as a landing place for pollen during pollination. So the pollen grain is going to come and settle down on this over here like this. So this is how the pollination is going to take place. So pollen grain ke liye wo like seat hai, that is why it is feathery kind of a thing and very soft in a kind of nature, because the landing place of the pollen grains. The style is a tubular slender stalk, a tubular slender sleek single stalk which connects the stigma to the ovary. So the stigma and the ovary are connected to each other by this particular tube called as the style. Ovary is a swollen basal portion composed of one or more carpels. The inner cavity of the ovary may have a single chamber or divided into several chambers, locules, each containing a number of rounded bodies, the ovules. So here there would be just one single chamber or multiple chambers. Depending upon what kind of flower it is, there will be this chambers, and each of the chambers will be round circular bodies which are called as the ovules, nothing but the egg. The cushion or swollen region in the ovary attacking the ovule of the walls of the ovary is called as placenta. So this particular part, which is the central part over here to which the ovules are connected, is called as the placenta. The cushion or the swollen region of the ovary attaching the ovules. So this particular area which is connecting or attaching the ovules to it is called as the placenta. So now we also see the sexuality of the plant. If in most plants the flowers are bisexual, they have both male and female part. We already discussed that, but anyway we are studying once again because they have given here a particular biological name for that thing. So let's see that. In many plants, the male and the female flowers are separate. Such plants are of 2 types: monoecious plants, that is one, Ascious means house. Male and female grow on the same plant, that is monoecious. So if the plant has got both the male as well as the female plant growing, male and the female flower growing on the same plant, it is called as monoecious plants. And dioecious plants, male flower and female flower grow on different plants, that is dioecious. So if the one particular plant has got only male flowers, another plant has got only female flowers, then they are called as dioecious plants. If they have got one male flower, female flower, both on the same plant, it is monoecious plants. Now what we see is the inflorescence and presentation. So inflorescence and presentation is the way in which the floral parts are, the arrangement of the flower are there in the axis of the plant. So that is called as inflorescence. So inflorescence is the mode of arrangement of flowers on the axis of the plant. So where are the flowers going to be there? Whether it will be the apical bud or it is going to be in the axial bud or terminal पे आएगा, किस पे आएगा, उसके ऊपर depend करता है कि कहाँ पे आता. So that's why it is called as inflorescence. So we see that the flowers may be arranged in several different ways in different plants. This manner of arrangement is termed as inflorescence. So the arrangement of the flowers is called as inflorescence. So the given one is singly either at the apex of the main stem or at the terminal apex of the lateral branches. So whenever the flower is at the tips, okay, so अगर एक particular plant है, so this is the plant, if ये branch के tip पे यहाँ पे एक flower, यहाँ पे एक flower, यहाँ पे एक flower, ऐसे tips पे flower अगर है, so there is one kind of a flower which is called as the lateral or terminal apex. So one which is at the lateral or terminal apex. Other one would be such that the flower will be over here, यहाँ पे, between the nodes, that is the axil of the leaf के एकदम tip के वहाँ पे अगर flower grow होता है, तो that is one another kind of the inflorescence. The third kind is that all the stems come in such a way that they reach a particular height, and accordingly they are going to be such that the flower looks like a bunch over here. So it is at the same height, all the flowers that will be come in the same height and it form like a bunch like structure. So growing out from the axils of the different leaves, reaching the same level, making a cluster. So that is one kind of a flowering structure. And finally, the axil is laterally flattened, making a disc, as in the sunflower. In the sunflower, you can see that the ray florets are in one flat thing. The ray florets are there in the flat thing. So that is why it is coming as a flat, lateral flattened region, making a disc in the sunflower. The youngest flower are in the center and the oldest in the periphery. So that is the inflorescence. The next thing is placentation or the placenta. Tissue that attaches the ovule to the walls of the ovary. So tissue which attaches the ovule to the walls of the ovary are called the placenta. The placentation or placenta is this way. Placentation is the manner in which the ovules are arranged or attached to the walls of the ovary. The manner in which, or the method by which, or the way in which the ovules are getting attached to the ovary or the walls of the ovary is called as placentation, and the wall of that ovary is called as the placenta. So placenta is the one to which the ovules are connected, and placentation is the method by which, or the manner in which they are connected. Ovules turn into seeds in the mature fruit, forming a transformed ovary. So when the ovule, so basically when pollination takes place, this particular pollen grain is going to give its sperm cell or the male, and it is going to get this egg cell, that is the ovule, fertilized. And when that happens, it forms into a seed. So the formation of a seed ek bar hua, so then this becomes a fruit. So that's why we see that the ovules turn into seeds in a mature fruit, that is transformed ovary. So that's why the ovary is going to transform into a fruit so as to protect the baby plant, that is nothing but the seed. The different arrangements can be seen in fruits such as those of pea, tomato, mango, lotus, etc. You can see the seeds are always arranged in different ways. Peas mein kaisa hai? All of them in a pod and there are multiples in the same one. Apple में पूरे enclosed के अंदर बीच में वहाँ पे आया है. You can see in case of tomato, all the outer shell is thick and then there are so many seeds inside it. Lotus के अंदर, तो सब जगह पे there will be so many different manners in which the seeds are going to be placed in different manners. So this is the way the placentation and the seeds are arranged in the plant. So yeah, that was the end of the chapter. A very simple chapter as such, very simple. Yeah, but important things over here. The diagram. They do ask to draw the diagram. Drawing the diagram is asked many times. So please see to it that you are able to draw this diagram. You can see that the way I drew it was very simple. I started over here and just did it this way. So just make it some practice so that it is easier to draw it. And of course, label these parts properly, and you always also to know what are the different functions and the different properties of the parts of this particular plant. So that is about the chapter. Very simple chapter. Yeah. So that's the end of the flower.